My son sold my home and my car while I was recovering from surgery. My name is James Bradshaw. I'm 64 years old, and 3 months ago, I learned what it truly means to be betrayed by your own blood. My Malibu Beach condo at 8235 Pacific Coast Highway, worth $2.4 million, and my Porsche 911, barely 8,000 miles on it, valued at $125,000, were both sold behind my back. No permission, no knowledge, nothing. At the time, I was recovering from knee surgery, heavily medicated and struggling just to walk. My son, Tyler, forged my signature, closed both sales, and pocketed a $48,000 commission, thinking he'd gotten away with it. What he didn't know was that I own Pacific Legacy Realty, California's largest independent real estate brokerage, with 200 agents and over $2 billion in annual sales. And on June 8, 2024, during the California Association of Realtors award ceremony, in front of 700 people, Tyler found out exactly who he had stolen from. If you're watching this, make sure to subscribe and tell me where you're tuning in from, because this is the story of what happens when entitlement meets accountability. Let's rewind to where it all began. To understand how we got here, you need to know about the 4 years of silence that came before. Tyler and I haven't spoken since April 2021, his wedding day. I wasn't invited. I found out through Facebook when my cousin posted a photo. Tyler in a navy tuxedo, his bride in white, smiling on a beach in Santa Barbara. The caption read, "Family that matters." I wasn't in the frame. I wasn't even near it when his mother and I divorced. Tyler was 15, old enough to know marriages sometimes end, but young enough to need someone to blame. And his mother, Diane, gave him that person, me. "Your father chose work over us," she told him. Never mind that I paid 150% of the court-ordered support. I paid every cent of child support, and more. I covered his rent from age 18 to 25, paid $180,000 for his tuition at UCLA, only for him to drop out in his junior year and blame me for not supporting him. By 2019, Tyler had blocked my number. He changed his voicemail to screen my calls. When I tried emailing him, he set up a filter, so my messages went straight to trash. The only place he didn't block me was Venmo, because in 2021, he needed $5,000 for an emergency. I sent it. He never paid it back. His LinkedIn profile says self-made. No handouts. No silver spoon. Just hustle. He's got 840 connections, a crisp headshot in a blue suit, and that same confident smile I used to be proud of. Underbout, he wrote, "Built my career from scratch, proving that success comes from grit, not privilege." I never corrected him publicly. I told myself I was taking the high road. But silence isn't peace. It's surrender with better PR. Then came March 12, 2024. Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. I was on a gurney, seconds away from anesthesia, preparing for full knee replacement surgery. Dr. Alan Foster, my orthopedic surgeon, 28 years of experience, leaned over and said, "James, you're going to be fine. 6 weeks recovery, and you'll be good as new." The operation went smoothly. Titanium implant 2 hours, in and out. But recovery, that's where everything fell apart. For the first time in decades, I was vulnerable. I live alone in that Malibu condo. 2 bedrooms, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Pacific. I bought it in 2015, right after the divorce. $1.8 million. My fresh start. My proof that I could rebuild. After surgery, I could barely walk. Stairs were impossible. The doctor prescribed OxyContin, 10 milligrams, for times a day. An orange bottle from CVS labeled, "Take 1 tablet every 6 hours, as needed for pain." Within days, the fog settled in. My mind wasn't sharp. Maggie O'Connor, my VP of operations, loyal for 20 years, drove me home, helped me get set up, but then had to return to work. Business doesn't stop for knee surgery. That's when Tyler texted. March 15th, day 3 post-op. My phone buzzed, unknown number. He'd blocked me, but I'd never blocked him. "Dad, can I visit? Want to talk?" I stared at that message for 10 minutes. For years of silence. And now, 3 days after surgery, he wanted to talk. I was cautious, but hopeful. Maybe he'd finally changed. Maybe therapy had worked. Maybe this was a reconciliation I'd been waiting for. So I texted back, "Sure, I'm home." He showed up 90 minutes later. Trader Joe's sunflowers in his hand. $8.99. Tag still on. "Hey, Dad," he said with a sheepish smile. I've been in therapy. Realized I blamed you unfairly for a lot of things. I was doped up on pain meds, emotional, foggy, desperate to believe him. And I did. "Come in," I said. He stayed for about 90 minutes, asked how my recovery was going, and offered to help with groceries, paperwork, anything I needed. I showed him where I kept my important documents. A fireproof safe in the master bedroom closet. The combinations written in the nightstand drawer, just in case. I told him, for emergencies. Before he left, he hugged me. It felt firm, almost convincing. "I'm proud of you," I said softly, "for doing the work." He nodded. "Thanks, Dad." Then he walked out with my spare key, the one I'd given him only for emergencies. And I thought maybe, just maybe, my son was finally coming back to me. I had no idea what he was really coming back for. Here's what you need to understand about that condo and that car. They weren't just possessions. They were proof, symbols of survival. The Malibu condo at 8235 Pacific Coast Highway. I bought it in August 2015, right after the divorce was finalized. Diane got the Pasadena house, the one where we'd raised Tyler. I got a chance to start over. $1.8 million. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,100 square feet. But those floor-to-ceiling windows face west, and every evening I'd watch the sun sink into the Pacific and think, I survived. By 2024, it was worth $2.4 million, but the number didn't matter. That condo represented my rebirth, proof that I could rebuild after losing everything. The Porsche was no different. A 2021 911 Carrera S, guards red, the kind of unapologetic red that catches every bit of sunlight, black leather interior, bought in cash, $125,000. I called it my retirement gift to myself. By March 2024, it had only 8,392 miles on it. I barely drove it, just weekend trips up the PCH, windows down, ocean air in my lungs, no destination, just freedom. If those sales went through, I'd lose more than just money. I'd lose the 2 things that proved I could survive betrayal and come out stronger. But that wasn't the worst part. After Tyler's visit, Maggie, my VP of operations, did some digging. She ran his name through public records, investor complaints, and court filings. What she found made my blood run cold. Tyler owed $280,000. 5 failed businesses in 8 years. 2019, crypto exchange. Lost investor money. 2021, NFT marketplace. Rug pull accusations. 2022, sustainable clothing brand. Supplier fraud. 2023, AI chatbot startup. Plagiarized code. 2024, blockchain real estate tokenization. That last one was nothing more than a Ponzi scheme, and it collapsed in February 2024. 3 investors, Russian nationals, Dmitry Sokolov and Ivan Petrov among them, were coming after him. Not mafia, but connected. The kind of connected where when they say deadline, they mean it. June 15th, 2024. That was Tyler's deadline. Pay up or face consequences. When Maggie showed me the lawsuit filings, everything clicked. Tyler hadn't come back because he'd changed. He came back because he was desperate. That so-called reconciliation wasn't about therapy or forgiveness. It was reconnaissance. He needed my keys. He needed to know where I kept my documents. He needed access. And I, foggy from pain meds, desperate to believe my son had grown, I gave him everything he needed to rob me. The truth hit me hard. If I stayed silent, I'd teach Tyler that theft is acceptable if it's within the family. He'd move on to victimize someone else, someone without the resources to fight back. I thought about all the times I'd stayed quiet during the divorce, all the lies Tyler spread, that I never corrected. All the times I told myself silence is the high road, but silence didn't heal anything. Silence made it worse. It taught him that I wouldn't fight back. Not anymore. March 30th, 11:47 a.m. I was sitting in my living room, eating lunch, tomato soup and grilled cheese. The most ordinary Tuesday of my life. Until my phone rang. It was Maggie, and she sounded frantic. "James," Maggie says on the phone, her voice tight. "I'm looking at MLS listing number 638-2940. "Okay," I say slowly. The address is 8235 Pacific Coast Highway. My spoon freezes halfway in my mouth. "That's your address," she adds. "What?" "Someone listed your condo. $2.4 million. Says estate sale. Seller motivated." My stomach drops. Who's the listing agent? I ask. Silence. Then she says it. Tyler Bradshaw. Momentum Realty. The soup goes cold. The sandwich sits untouched. Estate sale. Like I'm dead. I hang up with Maggie and call Tyler. Straight to voicemail. Of course. I text, "We need to talk about the condo." No reply. I check my email. Nothing. No listing agreement. No disclosures. No signature requests. Nothing. So I call Momentum Realty. The receptionist answers, bright and chipper. "Oh, Tyler's out showing properties all day. Can I take a message?" "No," I say flatly. No message. He wasn't avoiding me. He just didn't care. Next, I called David Harrison, my attorney of 15 years, senior partner at Harrison and Blake. If anyone can untangle this, it's David. "David," I say, "I need you to pull MLS listing 638-2940. 10 minutes later, he calls back. "James, I'm looking at the grant deed. Dated March 20th. You allegedly signed the property over to Tyler as trustee for the sale." My pulse spikes. March 20th? I was post-op on narcotics. "I know," David says. "That's the problem. You couldn't legally sign anything in that condition. Send me your medical records." Within the hour, Dr. Foster's office sends everything. Post-op notes, prescription records, OxyContin 10 milligrams. For times daily, March 12th through March 22nd. David orders a handwriting analysis. Linda Wu, 30 years with the FBI, now a forensic consultant, compares the signature on the deed to my driver's license, business filings, and corporate records. 3 days later, her report lands. Definitive forgery. Signature loops inconsistent. Pressure points wrong. Angular deviations outside subject's normal range. 12 pages. Highlighted discrepancies. Courtroom ready. But I wanted more. "David," I said, "hire someone to dig deeper. I want to know everything." He brings in Michael Grant, ex-FBI cybercrime, 22 years tracking financial fraud. David files a civil complaint, fraud, elder abuse, just enough to get a judge to issue a subpoena for Tyler's digital records. A week later, Michael walks into my condo carrying a laptop. "You're going to want to see this," he says. He opens a spreadsheet. Tyler's Google search history, mid-March. March 16th, 11:43 p.m. How to transfer property without owner knowledge. March 17th, 2:18 a.m. California grant deed requirements. March 17th, 9:03 a.m. Notary fraud penalties. I stare at the screen. He didn't just act on impulse. He researched it. He planned it. He Googled the crime before committing it, then looked up the penalties like he was calculating the odds. "There's more," Michael says. He clicks another tab, bank records, Chase Bank. March 28th, Tyler's checking account. Deposit, $48,000. Memo, commission, 8,235 PCH. Same day, $50,000 wire transfer to DS Enterprises, LLC. I Google the name. It's a front company. Registered agent, Dmitry Sokolov. March 29th. Another wire, $30,000 to IP Consulting. Registered to Ivan Petrov. March 30th. Credit card payments, $15,000 across Amex, Chase, Discover, all maxed out. Tyler wasn't just stealing from me. He was using my home to pay off dangerous men. What about the notary? I asked. Michael pulls up another document. The grant deed lists Lisa Chun, California notary number 2384765, dated March 20th, 2:15 p.m. Michael cross-references the state database. Lisa Chen's log shows notarizations that day, but her Instagram tells a different story. March 20th, 1:30 p.m., a photo of her at a winery in San Diego. Time-stamped. Geotagged. 90 miles from Malibu. The notarization was fake. The signature was fake. The entire deed, a complete fabrication. David leaned forward, his tone sharp. James, this is elder abuse, identity theft, forgery, grand theft. We can file criminal charges right now. The DA's already interested. I leaned back in my chair, eyes drifting toward the ocean beyond the glass. Not yet, I said quietly. David blinked. Not yet? What do you mean? I need to know his next move. I told him. If we stop him now, it's only attempted fraud. But if we let him finish, it becomes completed fraud, bigger charges, heavier consequences. He stared at me like I'd lost my mind. You're going to let him sell your house? I'm going to let him think he sold my house. James, he said uneasy. I didn't tell David the rest. Not yet, but the plan was already forming. Tyler wanted to play the real estate game. Fine. Let's see how far he gets when he realizes who owns the board. Tyler doesn't really know who I am. To him, I'm just Dad, the man who divorced his mother, the man who supposedly chose work over family, the man he hasn't spoken to in 4 years. But he doesn't know James Bradshaw. Let me explain. I founded Pacific Legacy Realty in 1998, right after my divorce. I was 40, terrified, starting over from nothing. One tiny office in Pasadena, 5 agents, and a storefront with peeling paint and a flickering neon sign on Colorado Boulevard. That first year, we did $3.2 million in sales, barely breaking even. But I had a rule, integrity first. Always. No shortcuts. No shady deals. No screwing clients for a quick commission. Word spread. By 2000, we had 15 agents. By 2005, a second office in Beverly Hills. By 2010, we'd expanded to Santa Monica, Malibu, Newport Beach. Now, 8 offices across Southern California. 200 agents. $2 billion in annual sales. Pacific Legacy is California's largest independent brokerage. I own 85% of it. Maggie holds 5%. The rest belongs to senior partners. Tyler doesn't know any of this. He dropped out of UCLA in 2016, never looked back, never Googled me, never asked what I really do. In his mind, I'm some washed-up agent who got lucky in the housing boom. If he'd simply searched James Bradshaw Real Estate California, the first result would have been Pacific Legacy's website. My face, my bio, 30 years of leadership in the industry. He never looked. 2 months ago, in March 2024, he joined a small boutique firm, Momentum Realty, just 15 agents trying and compete with the big leagues. Tyler needed a job after his blockchain startup crashed. Momentum hired him because he had a real estate license and a pulse. Now he's desperate to prove he's self-made by stealing from me. Then, on April 5th, 2024, I received an email. Subject: CAR Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations. The California Association of Realtors, the largest industry organization in the state, was recognizing me for 30 years of integrity, innovation, and service. Black tie gala, Beverly Hilton, 700 guests. Every major broker, developer, lender, and journalist in California. I appreciated the honor, but truthfully, I'd forgotten about it. I don't need trophies to validate what I built. During a strategy meeting, David mentioned it casually. You're getting that award on June 8th, right? Congrats. Yeah, I said. It's the biggest night in California real estate, he added. Everyone will be there. I was about to move on when Maggie rushed in, holding her phone. James, you need to see this. She showed me a screenshot of Tyler's LinkedIn post, dated April 10th. Humbled to be nominated for Rising Star Award at the CAR ceremony, June 8th. Proof that hard work pays off. I stared at the screen, a slow smile forming. He had no idea what was coming. Self-made and grateful. Real estate life. No handouts. That's what his post said. I read it twice. Rising Star Award. Same ceremony. Same night. Tyler was going to be there. Maggie watched my face carefully. He doesn't know you're getting an award, does he? I shook my head. He doesn't even know I own a company. David leaned forward, urgent. James, we can press charges right now. The DA's ready. We've got everything. Forgery, fraud, elder abuse. We can shut this down today. Or, I said slowly, we can wait. David frowned. Wait for what? June 8th, I said. He blinked. The ceremony? I nodded. I accept my award, I give my speech, and I tell the truth with 700 witnesses. Maggie's eyes widened. James, that's public. I know, I said. David sighed. You could handle this quietly. File charges. Let the system do its job. I looked at him. Tyler spent 4 years lying about me. On LinkedIn, Facebook, at family gatherings. He's told everyone I'm a deadbeat dad who chose money over him. And I stayed silent. I let him own the narrative. I leaned back in my chair. Not anymore. If he wants a public reputation, I said, he's going to get one, just not the one he wants. David studied me carefully. Can we do this legally? Everything's public record once we file, he said, and you be speaking the truth. Just be ready for the fallout. I am. Maggie asked quietly, what if he doesn't show? He'll show, I said. He's nominated for an award. He thinks he's about to be celebrated. He wouldn't miss it. David nodded slowly. Then let's make sure the timing is perfect. And that's when I realized June 8th wasn't just an award ceremony anymore. It was Judgment Day. May 3rd, 2024, 2 p.m. The condo sale closed. I wasn't there, of course, but I had eyes everywhere. Maggie's connected to every title company in Southern California. Malibu Title kept us updated. Professional courtesy. Tyler showed up in a rented Hugo Boss suit, trying to look like a success story. The buyers, Mark and Jennifer Sullivan, 31 and 29, young tech professionals from San Francisco. They'd been saving for years to buy a Malibu beach condo. Innocent people with no idea they were about to become part of a felony case. Patricia Dawson, the escrow officer, later told Maggie something felt off. Tyler was jittery, constantly checking his phone, hands trembling as he signed the papers. But everything looked legitimate. Grant deed, power of attorney, notarized signatures. The wire went through. $2.4 million from the Sullivan's bank to escrow. Then $2.352 million was transferred to an account Tyler had opened in my name, without my knowledge, minus his $48,000 commission. Tyler walked out whistling. Mark and Jennifer got the keys. They posted on Instagram that evening. Finally, homeowners. Beach life starts now. They had no idea. 2 days later, May 5th, Tyler went after the Porsche. He'd kept my spare key from his reconciliation visit back on March 15th. Took it right off the kitchen hook. He drove to Premier Auto's Beverly Hills, a high-end exotic car dealer. The owner, Samir Haddad, offered $118,000 below market, but Tyler didn't care. He took the cashier's check without negotiating. Then he made his first mistake. He posted an Instagram story, a photo of the check captioned, "Big things coming." He deleted it 20 minutes later, but Maggie had already taken a screenshot and sent it to me. I was sitting in my living room when I saw it. Tyler grinning, my Porsche title sitting in the background. I texted David. He just sold the car. David called immediately. Say the word. I'll stop this right now. No, I said. Let him finish. The deeper he digs, the harder he falls. May 6th to 8th. Tyler's spending spree. Bank records told the story. $50,000 wired to DS Enterprises, LLC, Dimitri's company. $30,000 to IP Consulting, Ivan's front. $15,000 in credit card payoffs. Amex, Chase, Discover, all maxed. $8,000 to his girlfriend, Brooke Hartley, an Instagram influencer with 12,000 followers. She posted a photo holding a Gucci handbag on Rodeo Drive, captioned, "Best boyfriend ever." Hashtag bless. And finally, $5,000 straight into Tyler's personal checking account. $10,000 business investment. Another crypto scheme. He never learns. By May 9th, Tyler solved his immediate problems. The Russian investors are off his back. His credit cards are clear. He feels untouchable. Then he posts on LinkedIn. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions to move forward. Grateful for new opportunities. Vague enough to sound inspirational. Actually about stealing from his father. His colleagues at Momentum Realty flood the comments. Proud of you, man. Keep crushing it. Rising star for real. None of them have the slightest idea. Meanwhile, Brooke's Instagram fills up with designer handbags, champagne dinners, and rooftop lounges in West Hollywood, all paid for with my money. Tyler thinks he's won. Then my phone rings. Patricia Dawson, the escrow officer. Her voice is uneasy. "Mr. Bradshaw, I'm calling because something about that closing felt off." Tyler seemed nervous, so I Googled your name afterward. You're the founder of Pacific Legacy Realty. I am. Then why would you need your son to handle the sale? And why list it as an estate sale? You're clearly not dead, right? I take a breath. Patricia, thank you for calling. Everything is being handled legally. Should I halt the disbursement? I can freeze the funds if... No, let it complete. I need the paper trail. She hesitates, confused. Mr. Bradshaw, I don't understand. You will soon. I hang up. Moments later, a text from David. Funds fully dispersed. Sale complete. Tyler's crimes are now official. Elder abuse, identity theft, forgery, and grand theft. All completed. We can file. David texts. I reply, not yet. June 8th. He calls immediately. James, you're really doing this? He wanted to prove he's a rising star. I say, let's see how bright he shines. Tyler has no idea what's coming. He's counting his money, planning his next move, bragging online, while I'm watching, waiting, and building a case strong enough to destroy him publicly. In 31 days, at the Beverly Hilton, in front of 700 people, he's going to learn what real consequences look like. June 8th, 2024, the Beverly Hilton Grand Ballroom, 6 p.m., cocktail hour. Red carpet gleaming under the lights. Photographers from MN News, The Real Deal, and every major real estate publication in California snap photos of the arriving guests. 700 people, brokers, agents, developers, lenders, title company executives. The entire industry dressed in black tie. Tyler arrives at 6:30. Brooks on his arm, wearing an $800 Revolve dress, his treat. Bought with my money. He's in a rented tuxedo. After paying off his debts, ownership isn't an option anymore. They walk the red carpet. Tyler hands out business cards, smiles for photos, brags about Momentum Realty's growth trajectory. Most people smile politely, pretending to know who he is. He scans the program. His name appears under Rising Star nominees. 5 agents under 30. Award time, 8:15 p.m. Then he glances at another line. James William Bradshaw, Lifetime Achievement Award, 8:30 p.m. He barely notices. Probably assumes it's some old man with the same last name. He even jokes to Brooke, California's a big state. He's seated at table 18 near the back, mid-tier agents, far from the spotlight. I arrive at 7 p.m. Alone. Simple black Tom Ford suit, elegant, understated. Nothing flashy. The reaction is immediate. James, congratulations. Well-deserved, my friend. 30 years of integrity. This is your night. Handshakes, hugs, photos. I smile, nod, play my part, but my mind is elsewhere. At table 3, front left, Maggie sits quietly, phone in hand. A text lights up my screen. He's here. Table 18. I don't look. Not yet. Dinner begins at 7:30 p.m. Filet mignon, roasted vegetables. perfectly plated, barely touched. My mind isn't on the food. 8:15 p.m., Maria Gonzalez, president of the California Association of Realtors, steps onto the stage. A brief microphone squeal. Laughter ripples through the crowd. Good evening, everyone. Our next award honors agents under 30 who exemplify integrity, hustle, and promise. The Rising Star Award. 5 headshots appear on the giant screen behind her. There he is, Tyler Bradshaw. Blue suit, confident smile, LinkedIn perfect. Brooks squeezes his hand beneath the table. He tries to look humble, fails miserably. And the winner is Nicole Patterson, Compass Beverly Hills. Applause erupts. Tyler's face falls. His jaw tightens. Brooke leans in, whispering, "It's okay, babe. You'll get it next year." He forces a smile, claps politely, but I can see it. The simmering anger, the disbelief. I closed $2.4 million this month. He's thinking, that award should have been mine. Nicole gives her speech. Heartfelt, grateful, authentic. Tyler scrolls under the table, posts an Instagram story. Honored just to be nominated. Hashtag grind never stops. He doesn't notice Maggie watching him from across the ballroom. Doesn't see David Harrison at table 5, leaning forward, eyes fixed. 8:30 p.m. Maria returns to the microphone. Our final award tonight is the Lifetime Achievement Award, recognizing an individual whose career has embodied the highest standards of our profession. The room quiets. Forks lower. Glasses pause midair. This year's recipient founded Pacific Legacy Realty in 1998 with just 5 agents and a dream. Today, Pacific Legacy stands as California's largest independent brokerage. Over 200 agents, 8 offices across Southern California, and more than $2 billion in annual sales. Tyler's head snaps up. Pacific Legacy. But beyond the numbers, Maria continues, this man is known for his integrity, for mentoring hundreds of agents, for weathering personal hardships with grace, and for never compromising his principles. Tyler flips through the program, scanning frantically until his eyes freeze on the name. James William Bradshaw, founder and CEO, Pacific Legacy Realty. His mind short-circuits. That's my father. Please welcome James William Bradshaw. A standing ovation. 700 people rise to their feet. Applause fills the ballroom like thunder. Tyler stares at the stage as I walk toward the podium. Gray hair, trim beard, black suit. The color drains from his face. "Babe, what's wrong?" Brooke whispers. That's my dad." "Your dad's CEO?" I didn't know." I reach the podium, shake Maria's hand, accept the Crystal Award, heavy, flawless, cold in my grip. The applause fades. Silence hums. "Thank you." I begin, my voice calm, steady, genuine. This is unexpected. When I started Pacific Legacy 26 years ago, I was freshly divorced, starting over, terrified. I didn't know if I'd survive the first year, let alone build something lasting. Heads nod around the room. People love a redemption arc. But this industry gave me a second chance. Many of you here tonight gave me that chance. With your trust, your referrals, your partnerships, your faith. And for that, I'm forever grateful. Applause swells again. Some wipe tears. I pause, glance down at my notes. The room thinks I'm emotional. I'm not. I'm transitioning. But tonight, I continue slowly. I want to talk about what this award truly represents. Something far beyond business success. It's about integrity, I said. It's about how we treat people when we think no one's watching, and about the consequences when we forget someone always is. The ballroom fell quiet, confused. 3 months ago, I had knee replacement surgery. Minor procedure, but it left me physically and mentally vulnerable. I was on pain meds, barely able to walk, asking for help for the first time in years. I paused, and during that window, someone I trusted stole from me. Gasps rippled through the room. Tyler sank into his chair. This person forged my signature on a grant deed, falsified notary documents, and sold my $2.4 million Malibu home without my knowledge or consent. More shocked murmurs. They also sold my car, a 2021 Porsche 911 with only 8,000 miles on the odometer. I bought it to celebrate surviving my divorce. It meant something to me. The room grew deadly still. The thief deposited a $48,000 commission check, used the money to pay off dangerous creditors, and then I let the sentence hang, nominated himself for an award at this very ceremony. Audible shock, people whisper. Who? Tyler tried to disappear into his chair. Brooke's eyes were wide. You may ask, why tell you this publicly? Why not handle it privately? I looked around the room and let that sink in. Because this person spent years lying about me, painting me as an absent, selfish father, claiming to be self-made. I stayed silent. I let him control the story because I thought maybe he needed that story to cope. Maybe I owed him grace. My voice hardened. But theft is not grief. Fraud is not coping. Exploiting someone's post-surgery vulnerability is not a cry for help. It's calculated cruelty. I clicked the remote. The screen behind me flared to life. The AV team nailed the timing. The first slide appeared. The forged grant deed next to my real signature, side by side, discrepancies circled in red. The audience leaned forward. This is a forged deed, I said. Note the inconsistent loops, the pressure differences, the wrong angles. Forensic analysis confirmed it was a forgery. Next slide, dash cam footage, timestamp March 15th, 2024. 3:22 p.m. Tyler's face is clear on screen, his hand in my safe, pulling out documents. This footage is from my home security system. I told them. He visited 3 days after my surgery, offered to help, then photographed documents and stole my spare key. Horror spread across faces. Slide after slide followed. Google search history, how to forge a property deed, California grant deed requirements, notary fraud penalties. The evidence was methodical, damning, and undeniable. California, March 16th, 11:43 p.m. These, I said, are search queries from the thief's laptop, obtained through subpoena. The words glowed across the ballroom screen. Premeditation is clear. At table 18, Tyler jolted to his feet, panic flashing his eyes. Brooke grabbed his arm. Sit down, she whispered. Every face in the room turned toward him. Next slide, bank records. Here we have a $48,000 deposit. I continued, followed by wire transfers to DS Enterprises, LLC, and IP Consulting. The screen changed again. The thief owed $280,000 to individuals with, let's say, questionable business practices. He used my assets to pay them off. Then the final slide. A screenshot of a text message, Tyler to Brooke. Old man won't even know it's gone until it's too late. He's so out of it on meds, he'll probably think he forgot he sold it. LOL. The audience gasped, a collective, horrified intake of breath. Cruelty, captured in writing. The thief, I said quietly, is my son, Tyler James Bradshaw. He's seated at table 18. Every head turned. Tyler stood frozen, face flushed crimson. Dad, this isn't. Tyler, sit down. My voice was calm, controlled, final. You've said enough over the years. He sank into his chair. Yesterday, I continued. The Los Angeles District Attorney filed formal criminal charges. Elder abuse, identity theft, forgery, and grand theft. This morning, the California Department of Real Estate suspended Tyler's license, and I have filed a civil suit seeking $5.2 million in damages. Silence. Heavy. Absolute. I didn't do this because I hate my son, I said after a moment. I did it because I love the industry we represent, because integrity matters, and because silence enables abuse. I looked around the room. Some of you have adult children who've hurt you. Some of you have stayed quiet to keep the peace. But I'm here to tell you, peace without accountability isn't peace. It's surrender. The applause began slowly, then grew. A standing ovation, louder and more heartfelt than before. I nodded once, stepped back from the podium, and walked off stage, the Crystal Award heavy in my hand. At table 18, Tyler sat surrounded by stares. He stood abruptly. Brooke followed, crying, humiliated. 700 witnesses now knew exactly who Tyler Bradshaw was and who he had tried to steal from. In the lobby, chaos. Tyler pushed through the crowd, Brooke chasing behind. People moved aside as if he were radioactive. I was nearly out the side door when I heard him. Dad, you can't do this. I'm your son. I turned. My face stayed neutral. Maggie was beside me, David too, and Detective Sarah Mitchell, plain clothes, off duty, but there because I'd asked her to be. Tyler staggered toward me, red-faced, sweating, desperate. I was going to pay you back. I needed the money. Those guys were going to. Tyler, I said evenly, stop. You committed fraud. You exploited me when I was vulnerable, and you did it without remorse. I do have remorse, he stammered. I cut him off. You texted your girlfriend that I was too drugged to notice you'd stolen from me. That's not remorse, Tyler. That's contempt. Brooke finally takes a step back, fully grasping the scope of what just happened. You stole from your dad, she says, her voice cutting through the tension. It's complicated after surgery, when he couldn't defend himself. He's rich, he doesn't need. Tyler starts, pleading. No, Brooke interrupts sharply. We're done. Lose my number. She turns and walks away, pulls out her phone, and unfollows him on Instagram instantly. Petty? Maybe, but real. Tyler is left alone. He turns toward me, desperate. What do you want? You want me to go to prison? I want you to face consequences for once in your life. I say, I'm your son's father. I paid your rent until you were 25. I covered your college before you dropped out. I never spoke against you publicly. Even when you lied about me, I gave you every chance. You chose this. Tyler's voice cracks. I'm sorry. I shake my head. I believe you're only sorry you got caught. Detective Mitchell steps forward, badge displayed. Tyler Bradshaw. I'm Detective Sarah Mitchell, LAPD Financial Crimes. You'll receive a formal arraignment notice within 48 hours. I suggest you contact an attorney. Tyler panics. Wait, I can explain. Save it for your lawyer. He storms out, dozens of agents and attendees filming on their phones. This will be industry gossip for months. Maggie hugs me. You did the right thing. David nods. The DA says Tyler's lawyer is already calling for a plea deal. He's facing 5 to 9 years if convicted, but will likely settle for 2 to 3 years probation, restitution, community service, and permanent revocation of his license. I nod, expression neutral, tired more than satisfied. Detective Mitchell adds, for what it's worth, Mr. Bradshaw, this was the cleanest evidence package I've seen in 20 years. You dotted every I and crossed every T. I learned long ago, if you can take a stand, make sure you can back it up. Maggie asks, what about the Sullivans? The couple who bought the condo. Handled, I say. I'm purchasing it back from them for $2.5 million, $100,000 more than they paid. They keep the profit, and I get my home back. David raises an eyebrow. Generous. They're innocent. I explain. They saved for years to buy that place. Tyler's crime shouldn't ruin their dream. I'm offering them a comparable property in Newport Beach. No fraud, no entanglements. Maggie tears up. You're a good man, James. I shrug lightly. I'm just tired of letting bad behavior slide because it's uncomfortable to confront. The next 48 hours erupt into a media firestorm. LinkedIn blows up with posts from attendees. Everyone in the industry is talking. Tyler's betrayal is no longer private. Witness the most powerful speech in California Association of Realtors history. James Bradshaw exposed his own son's fraud with receipts. Integrity personified. If you weren't at the awards last night, you missed a masterclass in accountability. Bradshaw showed the industry exactly what it looks like to stand firm. Tyler's LinkedIn profile vanished. Momentum really released a statement. We were unaware of Mr. Bradshaw's personal conduct and have terminated his affiliation effective immediately. Momentum really remained committed to the highest ethical standards. At 11 p.m. on June 8th, Brooke posted on Instagram, sometimes you don't really know someone Trust your gut. Single, thriving, 27, messy but unapologetic. People forgave her honesty. Trade publications lit up. Inman News. Legendary broker exposes son's fraud at award ceremony. The industry applauded the courage. The Real Deal. Pacific Legacy's James Bradshaw uses Lifetime Achievement speech to reveal family betrayal. Tyler deleted his LinkedIn, scrubbed his online presence, went completely dark. His mother, Diane, called for first time in 8 years. James, I had no idea. Tyler told me. Diane, I interrupted. I don't need your apology, but ask yourself, what story have you been telling him all these years that made him think this was okay? She started crying and hung up. The Sullivans, Mark and Jennifer, sent a handwritten note. Mr. Bradshaw, your generosity in the midst of personal betrayal is extraordinary. We're accepting your offer on the Newport property. Thank you for making this right. I framed the note in my office, a constant reminder that integrity has ripple effects. 2 weeks later, on June 23rd, the civil suit settled. Tyler couldn't afford to fight. David negotiated a deal. The civil suit would be dropped in exchange for Tyler's full cooperation in the criminal case. He would plead guilty, accept probation, and pay restitution. The criminal plea agreement came together quickly. Charges: elder abuse, California Penal Code 368. Grand theft, P487. Sentence: 3 years probation, $2.4 million restitution at $500 per month. Community service: 500 hours teaching financial literacy to at-risk youth. Permanent revocation of real estate license. The alternative trial: 90% conviction odds. 5 to 9 years in state prison. Tyler took the plea. November 12, 2024, sentencing hearing. I didn't attend. David went in my place. Judge Rachel Martinez, renowned for her toughness, addressed Tyler. Mr. Bradshaw, you exploited your father's post-surgical vulnerability. You forged documents. You stole a home and a vehicle. The only reason you are not going to prison is your father's request for leniency, which frankly you do not deserve. You will comply with every term of your probation. Violate it once, and I will invoke the suspended sentence. 5-year state prison. Do you understand? Tyler, defeated. Yes, Your Honor. He left the courthouse with no family, no girlfriend, no career. By December, he was working in an Amazon warehouse in Riverside, $18 an hour, stocking shelves, for a.m. to 12:30 p.m. He moved into a studio apartment, $950 a month, 40 miles from his old life. Meanwhile, Pacific Legacy thrived. Post-speech publicity brought a 40% increase in agent applications. Everyone wanted to work for the integrity guy. I promoted Maggie to COO. She cried, I've been with you 20 years. This means everything. I moved back into the Malibu condo in October. Changed the locks. I upgraded the security system, $8,000 for cameras, ADT monitoring. My knees fully healed. I now walk 3 miles on the beach every morning, and every evening I watch the sunset through those floor-to-ceiling windows and think, I survived. 6 months later, December 2024, Tyler is living in Riverside, in that $950 studio with beige carpet and a single window facing the parking lot. IKEA furniture, a cheap dresser from his mom, a pong chair, the kind of place you inhabit when you've lost everything. He works at the Amazon warehouse for AM shifts, scanning packages, lifting boxes, the same routine every day. His coworkers have no idea who he is, no idea what he did. He keeps his head down. He tried dating apps in September. A few matches. Every time a woman asked, "What do you do?" he lied. Logistics. They'd Google his name anyway. Unmatch immediately. By October, he gave up. His therapist, court-mandated weekly sessions as part of probation, asks the same question every time. Do you understand why what you did was wrong? Tyler's answers evolved slowly. First session. I mean, yeah, but he's my dad. He could just talk to me. Therapist. You stole from him while he was on pain medication. You texted mockery about his condition. What conversation would have changed that? Silence. Second month. I was desperate. Those guys were threatening me. Therapist. Desperation explains motive, but it does not justify stealing from someone recovering from surgery. More silence. Third month. He has so much money. I didn't think it would matter. Therapist. Did you ask him for help before the theft? Tyler. No. Therapist. Why not? Tyler. He would have said no. Therapist. You don't know that. Tyler. Yes, I do. He always said no. Therapist. When? Tyler has no answer. James never said no. Tyler never asked. By December, Tyler still doesn't fully understand. Maybe he never will. His probation officer visits monthly, checks his pay stubs, confirms a $500 restitution payment, asks about community service hours. Tyler teaches financial literacy at a youth center in San Bernardino. Saturday mornings, 2 hours. Kids age 14 to 18. The irony isn't lost. One kid asks, "Why are you here? What did you do?" Tyler deflects, "Made some bad choices." What kind? The kind you can't take back. The kid Googles him later, finds the news articles, tells the other kids. Word spreads. The next Saturday, attendance drops. Parents don't want their children learning from a thief. Tyler completes his hours anyway, alone in the room, preparing lessons no one will hear. Meanwhile, Diane, Tyler's mother, tries one last public defense. In August, she posts on Facebook, "My son made a mistake, but he's still a good person. Everyone deserves a second chance." The comments are brutal. He stole from his post-surgery father. That's not a mistake. It's cruelty. A mistake is forgetting to pay a bill. Fraud is a choice. Your son is an adult. Stop enabling him. Diane deletes the post within hours and blocks me on everything. She still can't accept her role in enabling Tyler. She never calls him either. Tyler is alone. Meanwhile, Pacific Legacy is thriving. After the speech, we receive applications from agents across California. Everyone wants to work for a company that values integrity. We open a 9th office in Sacramento and hire 30 new agents in Q3. Revenue jumps 18% year over year. In October, I host a company retreat in Lake Tahoe for 200 agents with a theme, Building Legacy Through Integrity. Agents ask about Tyler. I deflect. I don't discuss ongoing legal matters, but I do make one point clear. Principles aren't negotiable. Even with family, maybe especially with family. They applaud. Some even tie up. In November, Mark and Jennifer Sullivan close on their Newport Beach property. For bedrooms, 2,800 square feet. Ocean view, $2.45 million. They send a Christmas card, photo on their new deck. Thank you for turning our nightmare into a dream home. I send them a $500 Williams-Sonoma gift card as a housewarming gift. Other victims of Tyler's schemes come forward after the news coverage. 2 investors from a blockchain startup filed claims totaling $75,000, added to Tyler's restitution. His total debt now sits at $2.475 million. At $515 per month, garnished directly from his Amazon paycheck. It would take over 400 years to repay, essentially a lifetime sentence. Tyler will never own a home, never qualify for a car loan, never rebuild credit. Every dollar he earns above basic survival goes to restitution. He has 40 years left of payments before death. In late November, I receive a handwritten letter forwarded by Carr. Mr. Bradshaw, I attended your speech on June 8th. I'm a 26-year-old agent in Sacramento. My broker was cooking the books. Pressure me to stay quiet. Your speech gave me the courage to report him to the DRE. Investigation opened last month. He's now facing license suspension. Thank you for showing that integrity isn't weakness. It's power. Megan R. I framed a letter next to Sullivan's note. A reminder that principles have impact far beyond personal conflict. I return to my routine. Office 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Golf on Wednesdays. Mystery novels before bed. Currently the Thursday Murder Club. I date casually. I met Elizabeth in September. 61. Retired teacher. Introduced by a friend. Coffee once a week. No pressure. Privacy matters. Learned that from the Diane disaster. I think about Tyler sometimes, wonder if probation will actually change him. I doubt it, but I hope, not for reconciliation, just so he doesn't waste his life bitter and broken. That's not my responsibility anymore. I gave him every chance. I stayed silent for years. I extended grace when he returned. He chose theft. Now he lives with that choice, and I live with mine, to demand accountability. Some days it feels like I lost a son. Other days it feels like I found myself. Present day, December 24th, 2024. I'm sitting in my Malibu condo, ocean sound in the background, recording this story. 6 months have passed since the ceremony. People still ask, do you regret exposing Tyler publicly and pressing charges? The answer is no, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. I think about the kid he once was, 15, angry about the divorce, needing someone to blame. I understand that. Divorce is traumatic. Kids suffer. I accept my share of responsibility for that pain. But somewhere between 15 and 29, he made choices. He chose to nurse resentment instead of seeking truth. He chose to lie about me instead of asking my side. And when those choices didn't give him the life he wanted, he chose to steal from me. I didn't cause those choices. I can grieve the relationship we could have had, but I will not carry guilt for consequences he earned. Therapy has helped. Yes, I'm in therapy now. I started in July. Turns out, setting boundaries with your own child is harder than building a $2 billion company. Who knew? Here's what I've learned. 1. Silence is not peace. I stayed silent for years during the divorce. When Tyler lied about me, when he blocked my number, I told myself I was taking a high road. But silence only let his lies harden into truth. If I'd spoken up sooner, not aggressively, just honestly, maybe things would have been different. Maybe not. But at least I wouldn't have the regret of never trying. 2. Grace and accountability aren't opposites. I can feel compassion for Tyler's pain and still hold him accountable for theft. Those things coexist. In fact, accountability is a form of grace. It says, I believe you're capable of better, and I won't enable this version of you. 3. Reconciliation requires 2 people. I'm open to rebuilding if Tyler ever shows genuine remorse. Not sorry I got caught remorse, but real accountability, therapy, restitution, and change behavior sustained over years, not weeks. Until then, I'm at peace with distance. That doesn't make me a bad father. It makes me a father with boundaries. For integrity has a cost. I lost my son, maybe forever. That's the price I paid for principles. Some days it feels too high, but then I think, what if I had stayed silent? What if I let him get away with it? He'd do it again, maybe to someone without the resources to fight back. I couldn't live with that. So yes, it cost something, but what I gained, self-respect, peace, the ability to look in the mirror, is priceless. If you're listening and you're estranged from an adult child or any family member, know this. You're not alone and you're not a failure. Sometimes love means letting people face consequences. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step back and let them figure out without your rescue. If you're the Tyler in this story, if you've burned a bridge and are wondering if it's fixable, it might be. But not with excuses, not with a casual, I'm sorry. True repair requires owning what you did, understanding why it was wrong, and proving through actions, not words, that you changed. And even then, the person you hurt doesn't owe you forgiveness or relationship. You broke it. They don't have to fix it. And if you're someone who stayed silent in the face of wrongdoing, I get it. Speaking up is terrifying. But the temporary discomfort of confrontation is nothing compared to the long-term weight of regret. Tyler's probation ends in 3 years, November 2027. Maybe he'll reach out. Maybe he won't. I genuinely don't know which outcome I'm hoping for. What I do know is I'll be okay either way. I have a company I'm proud of, people I trust, and a life that reflects my values. That's enough. Tonight is Christmas Eve. Elizabeth's coming over for dinner. Nothing fancy. Salmon, roasted vegetables, wine. Simple. Peaceful. Next week, I'm flying to Lake Tahoe with Maggie and the leadership team for our New Year's retreat. Planning 2025. Pacific Legacy is on track for $2.3 billion in sales, and we're exploring a 10th office in San Jose. Life moves forward. Tyler? He'll be at the Amazon warehouse tomorrow. Christmas Day, holiday pay, time and a half. He needs it for restitution. I don't know if he thinks about me, if he regrets what he did, or if he's changed at all. I hope he has, for his own sake, but that's not my burden anymore. If this story resonates with you, let me know in the comments. Where are you watching from? Have you faced something similar? How did you handle it? I read every comment. Well, Maggie reads them and shares the good ones. And if you're Tyler and somehow you're listening, my door isn't locked. But this time, you have to knock honestly. No more stolen keys. Thanks for listening. I'm James Bradshaw, and this is what happened when my son sold my house and my car and learned that I own the world he was trying to take from me.